today you'll be receiving from a message full of God's power to help you become everything that God has created you to be. You know, God sent his son, Jesus, to die for you to have a life of abundance and for you to be an ambassador for him. What does that mean? That your life should represent his goodness. It's time to be about it. Tune in today's message and you'll be blessed.
Philippians chapter 1. I'm going to read this passage of scripture. I think it'll be very relevant for today. Verse 15 says, some indeed preach Christ, even of envy and strife, and some also of goodwill. He's talking about some people are preaching Jesus for the wrong reasons. Some people are preaching for the good reasons. Verse 16 says, the one preach Christ of contention, not sincerity, supposing to add affliction to my bond. So he's talking about here, Paul is saying, there's some people, they're preaching Christ just so they can get back at me. Verse 17, he says, but the other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. What then? Notwithstanding every way, whether in pretense or in truth, if Christ is preached, I therein do rejoice, yea, and will rejoice. For I know this, that this shall turn into my salvation through your prayer and the supply of the Spirit of Jesus Christ. What is he talking about here? Paul is looking at there, he's seeing all these different people preach Jesus. And he's saying some people are not even sincere. They got ulterior motives. And he's saying some folks, they doing it for the right reasons. But the people that's out here clowning, they making me look bad. But then he said, but you know what? Let me keep my focus right here. If the gospel and Christ is being preached, that is what's important. This is another passage about focus, because too often we get distracted trying to judge other people and what their motives might be. And Paul is saying right here, you already know there's folks who their motives are not right, but what does that matter? I'm going to ask you that question about your life. You're upset, you're twisted, and you're tired about they're not even living right. How she get married and they was sleep. I know for a fact they was sleeping together before they got married. How he get that job? That guy is a slickster. I can't even believe this. I'm quitting my job because they can't see that they faking. What does that matter? So there comes a point where we have to set boundaries in our life where we make a decision. This is a decision of maturity, to make a decision on what I'm actually going to focus on. Because Satan knows how to subdue a lion. And what he knows about subduing a lion is to get it distracted. So one of the biggest tools that Satan uses in these last days to sit you down, lioness and Mr. Lion, is distractions. And I want to challenge you today. The next time you're about to blow up on somebody, ask yourself this question. In the grand scheme of what God has called me to do, what does this matter? The next time somebody don't speak to you, don't treat you the way, don't tell you that your baby is cute, or don't tell you that you got it going on, before you get upset and get mad and start talking about that thing, ask yourself this question. As I'm standing in the throne room of God, what does this matter? I learned this lesson very early when I was preaching. I think I've been preaching a year or two, and I started ministering, and I ended up being ridiculed and made fun of on the radio. And at first I was so hurt by that. And I watched my dad, who was my dad's Bishop Butler, if you don't know, who was a great example to me. They write articles about him. Y'all remember when they wrote that article, Facts Man? They not only wrote the article, they drew a character of him, and they the big head and the little cheek. I mean, I was like, oh, but this is awful. And he was like flying through the air, and I was like, somebody used their time and their gifting to try and ridicule and make fun of my dad. My dad took that article, I would have set it on fire. My dad took that article and he framed it, and he put it on that wall. He said, I must be doing something right if the distractions are trying to come to this level. And some of us, You're not moving forward because you busy boxing folks that don't matter. There's a certain point where you just got to let some folks go. I'm going to say that again. Can we just be real up in here? You just got to let it go. Yeah, they laid you off. Yeah, it wasn't right. You got to let that go. I'm going to say it again. You got to let that go, champ. If you seek the Lord and you focus on the Lord and the future and the prize, which means we talked about last week having hope in God, which just means no matter how bad it looks, I'm going to keep hope in God. I may not know what my future entails, but I do know this. I'm a child of God. And if I'm a child of God, my inheritance is good things. So no matter whether or not I can figure it out or not, I know I have hope in God, so I can keep my focus there instead of listening to all the naysayers or how it looks. Besides, listen, there is no, you cannot, N-O-T, have any position in this earth of great influence and not face cowardice attacks. Social media has given a platform to cowards. And some of you, you're like, Lord, where is my abundant harvest? He said, listen, I can't take you higher until you get your focus right. Because if you spend time focusing on your problem, the problem just gets bigger. That's why in Matthew 6, he was talking about, don't worry about the lilies of the field and all that other kind of stuff. I take care of all of that.
I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I want to encourage you to subscribe. Also share with your friends. People need encouragement, especially those, you may know some people who are really going through. Go on and share this podcast with them. I also want to encourage you to visit our website. We've got some material that can help you. That's michelleferguson.org. And as always, I'm Michelle Ferguson, helping you to discover, develop, and celebrate who God has created you to be. Look forward to seeing you next time.